Cities and prefectures reportedly operate 2 million public housing units nationwide. Of those, more than half are over 40 years old, and aging has become a problem. With an aging population and falling birth rate, local governments must decide to rebuild or demolish these buildings. Construction of this apartment building began in 1969 at the end of the rapid economic growth period and finished in 1978. It's a large housing complex with 2,900 units. The housing complex was built riverside to remove the slum. The building is almost 50 years old, and the declining birth rate and aging population have become issues. There is also a shopping street within the complex, but vacant stores are becoming noticeable. What community does this apartment aim to build? Today I'll introduce the municipal Motomachi high-rise apartment in Naka Ward, Hiroshima City, Hiroshima Prefecture. So I've come to Hiroshima Castle. It's a 15-minute walk from Kamiyacho, Hiroshima's busy downtown. Let's enter the grounds and head to the castle. You might wonder why we're visiting a castle, but from the main keep you can see the Motomachi city-run high-rise apartments. There was a special exhibition called Hiroshima Castle and the original town at the time. There are valuable materials I can include in the video. It seems I can't introduce the photos and other items on display, so if there's anything, I'll share it during the explanation in the latter half. I've reached the castle tower. The hot summer is finally over. I hope everyone stayed safe. I'm writing the script while remembering how incredibly hot it was on the day of filming. Since 1958, this castle tower has been a 5-story steel-reinforced concrete building. It was rebuilt as a concrete structure. The original castle tower was destroyed by the atomic bombing in 1945. It seems that the reconstruction period was only 5 months. That's unthinkable nowadays. And there's another reason I came here. Actually, soon we won't be able to enter this castle tower anymore. Due to aging and not meeting earthquake-resistant standards, it's scheduled to close in March 2026. For the time being, it seems it will be left in a ruined state, so it doesn't mean you won't be able to see it at all. It seems that, like the original castle tower, they are aiming to restore it in wood, but nothing has been decided yet. This will probably be the last time I enter the castle tower. I like Hiroshima and have visited once a year since graduating college. And whenever I came, I almost always went to the Hiroshima Castle Tower. Somehow it makes me feel sad. There's no air conditioning, so it's hot, but there were still many people. There were a lot of foreigners too, so I wonder if it's in the guidebooks. There were few foreign language explanations, so I wonder if people can understand it. Now, this is the observation room. For someone like me who's afraid of heights, it's a little scary. It's beautiful. This is the Motomachi Municipal High-Rise Apartment. It might be hard to tell in the video, but it has an incredible presence. I've been to Hiroshima Castle. Many people have likely wondered, what is this building? Its unique structure stands out and sparks curiosity. The place called the Municipal Motomachi High-Rise Apartments is right around where you see in the video now, among other places. They were planned together with the same goal of eliminating slums and share the same structure. There are also mid-rise complexes and the prefectural Shojun high-rise apartments. So I quickly moved closer to the apartment. In front of the apartment is the Motomachi Higashi shopping street, which is full of Showa-era vibes. But despite being called a shopping street, most of the current tenants are company offices or factories. There are almost no shops. Maybe it's because it's evening and all the shutters are closed. It felt lonely. I've arrived at the apartment. It's such a cool apartment, it's hard to believe it was built about 50 years ago. In front, There's a Marunaka that serves the local residents. High-rise apartments are numbered up to 17 with the mid-rise, and the sequence continues after that. From building 18 to building 20, there are a total of 3 high-rise apartment buildings, with the tallest part reaching 64 meters. That's right. Surprisingly, this is just one apartment building, and it's very long horizontally. It's easier to understand when you look from above, so let's check it out on Google Earth. The arrangement of the 3 buildings looks like this. Each building is a long, zigzag-shaped structure. Dividing them as building 18 to building 20 will confuse both residents and delivery people. They are divided into Core 1, Core 2, etc., based on elevator locations. And the further south you go, the lower the height becomes. This highly unusual structure was needed because so many units were required. If they had only used typical slab-shaped buildings, it would have been packed with residences, making it hard to build the planned plazas, kindergartens, and schools. By slightly bending the structure, they increased the number of units. Bending it allowed them to create school spaces and plazas as planned. Thank you, by the way. Under the plaza, there is a shopping street called Motomachi Shopping Center, which can also be used by the general public. The angle of the bends has been carefully calculated so that every residence can get the best sunlight and privacy is maintained. So please rest assured. So let's go take a look at the shopping street. To your left is the 20th apartment building. No matter how many times I see it, it's cool and I never get tired of it. After a short walk, I found the Motomachi Shopping Center May bus stop. It's really convenient to have a bus stop on the premises. There's also Kamakita Station on the Astrum line, about a 5-minute walk away, so the transportation convenience is pretty good. Motomachi, just like the bus stop's name, has the shopping center right in front. There's a plaza up here, but it was under construction, so I couldn't go in. This store map was by the entrance. The area is so spacious with many stores, hard to believe it's all inside the apartment complex. This map is from 2018, so its accuracy or usefulness may be uncertain. So, let's go ahead and enter the shopping street. It really has a strong Showa-era vibe. The timing of my filming is tricky. It's about 5:30 post-meridian. The shops that are open during the day are already closed. There are many bars and places open in the evening. But at 5:30 post-meridian, those places were still closed, so I misjudged the timing. Still, there are many things to enjoy. Some of the stores that were on the map earlier are already gone, so the map isn't really reliable after all. That's right, it was made before the COVID-19 pandemic, so it can't be helped. The Showa-era vibe and the sense of nostalgia, it's really packed with that. For people who like that kind of scene, it'll really hit home. With such a large scale, some things are unavoidable, but about 30% of it feels stale. Don't you think so? On the other hand, there were also a few shops that seemed to have opened recently. It's within a group of apartments and doesn't face the street, making the entrance hard to find. Moreover, it's a bit of a walk from the station. Considering these points, normally it would be inevitable for it to become abandoned. Considering that kind of environment, I think this shopping street is actually doing pretty well. Normally people would get bored and it would end up deserted, don't you think? By the way, Sanfrecce Hiroshima's home stadium will move here in 2024. Ideon Peace Wing Hiroshima has opened. I don't know if the Motomachi shopping center side is really welcoming the arrival of the soccer stadium. I've heard there are rules saying customers shouldn't enter. And the tenant lineup has changed. There were many Asian grocery stores and welfare facilities for the elderly. Apparently, these two types of tenants have kept the place from being abandoned based on what I learned. The aging rate is about 50%, which is roughly twice that of Hiroshima City. Foreigners make up 22%, about 14 times the overall rate in Hiroshima City. There is a welfare facility in the shopping street directly connected to the apartment. It's very convenient for elderly people and their families, and also for foreigners to quickly buy products from their home countries. Regardless of whether it's good or bad, it seems like a microcosm of Japan. Shuriapado rent is based on your income. Therefore, it depends on the person. It seems you can live in a 2K or 3K layout for about 16,000 yen in rent. Having these conditions in such a good location is an incredible deal. Also, because the move-in requirements are relaxed, it seems to be an environment where elderly people and foreigners can easily choose to live. That's the current situation. From here, the municipal Motomachi high-rise apartments were developed. The reasons include the aging and deterioration of buildings, as well as the shuttering of the shopping street. I'll discuss the future of these apartments, which face issues like these. The Motomachi area was a place where military facilities were concentrated during the war. The municipal Motomachi high-rise stands where the Hiroshima Army Hospital once was. That's right. But on August 6, 1945, the United States military dropped an atomic bomb on Hiroshima, destroying the city. Because there were many military facilities concentrated here, it became a target. After the war, it remained a burned-out wasteland. Motomachi followed in 1946. On the east side, they developed facilities like the Tourism Bureau, hospitals and schools, and on the west side, they created a park. The plan was announced. However, the atomic bomb was dropped. In Hiroshima, it was no longer time to consider such development. Most of the places where parks were planned were instead used to build a large number of row houses for residents who lost their homes in the atomic bombing. In Hiroshima City, they built row houses with 10 units in one building, and it seems that a total of 1,815 homes were constructed. That is the location of the current Motomachi municipal high-rise apartments. However, even with that, it still wasn't enough. People who had no homes had no choice but to start building more and more illegal houses, known as atomic bomb slums, along riverbanks and other places. Reportedly, the total reached 900. Atomic bomb slums once stood across the river from here. Now there are no places left where you can feel it. Nothing remains. It's amazing how everything has vanished and looks so clean. However, the municipal Motomachi high-rise apartments remained until 1978, when they were completed. I mentioned this earlier, but these municipal apartments were built to eliminate the atomic bomb slum. Fires often broke out near the illegal housing. Because the houses were crowded and roads narrow, fire trucks struggled to enter. As a result, fires often became major disasters. From 1961 to 1976-14, fires destroyed 403 houses, contributing to the area's redevelopment. Well, in the first place, since these were illegal houses, they had to be removed anyway. Because of the housing shortage, they made it a park. Hiroshima City revised its plan, turning part of the area into residential land, but it became run down. Instead of illegal housing in 10-row houses, municipal apartments will be built. The apartment was successfully completed. In 1974, everyone moved out of the illegal housing and the 10-row houses. In 1978, both the illegal housing and the 10-row houses were demolished. That's right. Moreover, it was accomplished without any forced eviction. Yes, that's really amazing. The area was designated parkland and became Hiroshima Central Park as planned. It is now Edion Peace Wing, Hiroshima. This project took 10 years to complete, and the total project cost was about 26 billion yen. Large-scale redevelopment today couldn't be completed in 10 years. Today, 26 billion yen isn't enough to build even one building, so your sense of scale changes. The Azabu Dai Hills project cost 640 billion yen. The total number of units in the Motomachi municipal apartments is 2,964. It must have been quite difficult to finish in 10 years. I want to meet those involved in the construction then. After that, more problems arose, but we overcame them. However, many issues are piling up now. The buildings are aging, with some already closed. They've decided to rebuild them. As for the high-rise apartments, there are currently no plans to rebuild them. Since they are already 50 years old, it will likely be considered eventually. There are public facilities like kindergartens and elementary schools in the high-rise apartment grounds, so it might be a bit difficult. And as for the aging population, it's expected that in 10 years, the aging rate will reach about 60%. Young people avoid old apartments, and relying on foreigners has limits. The government is also trying to increase the number of young people, but honestly, I don't think it's having any effect at all. There are kindergartens, schools, a shopping street, and even an entertainment district. Public facilities in the station are nearby, making it a great place. Given these circumstances, it's a prime location. Having a city-run apartment in such a location where the rent is cheap and it doesn't generate much revenue affects the revitalization of the town. However, there are also opinions that it's a waste and that it should be relocated. Honestly, when I consider the town's future, I think that's the better option. Sorry if this makes anyone uncomfortable. I love the building itself and think its design will never be repeated. A new soccer stadium, a major attraction, was just built next to it, making it seem even more wasteful to me. However, if the new location is farther from the station, it could make access too difficult for the elderly and foreigners. Because it would create this environment, we must proceed cautiously, even if a move is decided. I also plan to keep following future developments. Honestly, I left out several things in the video, or felt they were best not mentioned. If you're interested, please research this apartment on your own. Since it was once Genbaku Saramu, people apparently faced discrimination in the past. The younger generation isn't connected to the Baraku issue, so there's nothing to worry about. So, that's it for this video. I'll see you again in the next one.